All right, so that was good. Next up, now here's the thing. I've got to pull up all of our champions, but here is the question: we are going to read our UFC champions current, right? And
Yeah.
we're gonna just make a snap judgment. It's this time, January the 10th, 2022. Are they still the champion?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So right now, let's start at the bottom and work our way to the top. I almost started at the
I know.
top.
I don't know none of them, but let's go start at the
All
bottom.
right. Let's start with women's strawweight. Right now is Wiley Zhang or Zhang Wiley. I don't know which way you pronounce it. Will she continue to be the champ? If not, who dethrones her? Does Rose beat her?
I if Rose wants to fight for the championship, I think Rose can beat her. Rose does not have the power to knock her out, so it'll be a 5 round fight.
Uh-huh.
Um, they say Rose doesn't have the power, but I've seen her put somebody on the ground,
Ooh,
but
she
it
caught
just
up with that
seems like she
left.
doesn't have. It seems like she just doesn't have that oomph to go and knock somebody out. But um, she can contend, but I feel like the championship stays in the championship person's
I
side.
agree. If the only person I think that could beat her at this point is Rose, Joanna couldn't do
Yeah,
it. Andrade couldn't do it. I don't know anybody else in the strawweight division that is going to do it. So I think Zhang Weili is going to remain the 115 champion. And then if someone gets closer to be Rose, if she gets over the top, I'll be happy to be wrong. All right,
yeah.
flyweight. Valentina Shevchenko, yes. Sorry.
Unless she fights
Who? 125. Women's 125.
Nunez,
Nunez,
unless Nunez comes down and
Nunez can't make
takes that
125.
belt,
Nunez can't make
unless she fight
125.
then.
She's hell. It hurts her to make 135. 145 is probably what she wants to be. Nunez can't make 125. So
Might
Valentina
she might if she
will.
want to go down there and knock her ass out and get that belt, she
But there's
might.
nothing. There's nothing to prove the actually going down to 125 because she already done beat her twice, I believe. The first one was a close one. So you got Valentina Shevchenko will remain the champ. Women's bantamweight. Here's the thing. Let's do them both together. Women's bantamweight and women's featherweight. 135 and 145, both of which is Amanda Nunes. Here's the thing. Does Amanda vacate the belt in 2021?
That could be a good opportunity right there. That's a good way to look at it. The one thing I want to say about that 135, 145 is that the boxer who's coming from, I forgot her name. She's coming from
Clarissa
boxing and then
Shields?
transition. I think so, transitioning over to MMA. She said that Nunez cannot beat her. And I feel like Nunez is going to put her in a blender and chop her ass up.
Can't beat her in what?
But
Rock, paper, scissors?
she couldn't beat her in boxing.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah,
she has the edge in
yeah.
boxing, but this ain't boxing. This is MMA. And Nunez is very strategic on the ground. And she can take you down and she can ground and pound and she can do some things that you ain't never seen before.
Here's a hot take right here.
But to answer your question though, I feel like she doesn't vacate. I feel like she defends both and she continues to have both
I
belts.
feel like she's bored. I feel like she's bored. I feel like she has the belt around her, but if she doesn't have to fight and she could just continue on the way she's going right now, then she'll just continue doing that. I feel like there's nothing that will get her out of her seat to come and fight. And Clarissa Shields isn't that it. So here's the thing. Here's a hot take. Standing up, not just boxing, but a stand up in MMA and no one takes anybody down. I don't know if Clarissa Shields beats Jermaine Durandamy at
But
145.
Clarissa, but look
Yes,
though, she is a
I know.
champion.
This I know. So is Jermaine Durandamy. Decorated kickboxing.
I can see where you're
So,
coming from,
but
but
listen to me. Listen
them
to me when I say
hey, them
this though.
hands nice though. Them
Her
hands
hands is nice.
nice.
Jermaine's hands are nice too. But listen to me when I say this though. With Amanda Nunes, when it came to Jermaine Durandamy, I believe that Amanda Nunes could have possibly stuck it out there and struck with her. But what'd she do? She wrestled her to death. She did what she had to do to win. Clarissa Shields ain't gonna be able to learn anything in time to contend with that. So I don't think she stands a chance until years and years down the road. Maybe, if that. Unless there's something that I don't know. So
I don't know.
I say
I
Amanda
feel like
Nunes gets
Nunez
bored.
keeps it up. I don't think so. Beating somebody's ass is getting bored. Nah, man.
Yeah, but the better you are, the more you have, the more you've got to lose to somebody who should not be in there. The fall for Ronda Rousey was so great because
She ain't had no damn ground game.
yeah. All right, men's flyweight, Davison Figueiredo, is he still the 125 champ? I vote yeah.
don't feel
I
like-
know
no.
who's going to beat him. Joseph Benavidez. He lost to him twice. That's the only one I think that's close. That Moreno rematch, I think Davison figures that out, gets it done. So
I feel like he can change over that Moreno one. It's so close in that fight.
now at 135, this is one that's interesting. Peter Yan, is he still the champ?
No.
Because he's got to contend with Aljamain Sterling. He just
Sterling winning that.
he just beat Aldo, but there's a lot of
Sterling winning
there's a
that.
lot of talent at 135. So Peter Yan, who is an exceptional talent, that's why he's the champ. The chances of him actually dropping one compared to the other champions is very high. So I vote no like you.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's keeping that championship belt next year at this
Now
time.
he's very capable of beating Aljamain Sterling. I'm not gonna lie to you. All right,
Aljamain finna put him in the twister.
men's featherweight. This is a tricky one. Alexander Volkanovski, right?
No,
Who?
I don't even think he beat
Holloway?
Holloway in both those fights.
Really?
I don't say he beat both Holloway in both those fights.
Dude, who? Okay, so at men's featherweight, we would have to look up the men's featherweight division, but
Max Holloway's taking that championship. Will be the champion.
does he get over the hill?
Yes,
Are you sure?
man. Max
He's
Holloway
lost twice.
beat him in the last fight. To him, and he beat him both times in my eyes. When I watched the fight, I didn't see what everyone else saw. I saw that I can't say his name, but he
It's
fought
Piotr
for
Jan.
points.
Just go with Peter Yan. It's fine.
I'm not talking about Peter Yan. I'm talking about the next one. Max Holloway versus.
Fought for points.
We're talking about.
Oh, you talking about
We're talking-
Alexander Volkanovski? My bad.
Yes, he fought for points, not to win the round or win the fight. He fought to win the fight by points, not to go in and knock him out or submit. I don't like that kind of fighter these days. If you're going in, go in to win,
He's going in to
but
win.
not to lose. He's going in not to lose, man. I just
But
and then-
whether or not you like that, a lot of people don't like that GSP was going to wrestle heavy. The question is, can Max Holloway stop that? And if not Max Holloway, because we got to look at it, it's a year, so we got a year to look at it. If Max Holloway doesn't get it done, does Brian Ortega, does the beat Magomed Sharapov get it done?
I feel that he is not the real champ in that division and in that weight class. And I feel like there's much more talent in that weight class that can take him out.
Okay, so we vote no. All right. At lightweight, this one. All right, so let's do two things. Khabib. Let's talk about Khabib.
Habib.
Let's talk about Khabib. And then let's also talk about the fact that if he doesn't come back, it's June the 10th, 2022. Who is the champion? Let's look at it like that. First off, does Khabib come back?
I don't think he comes
There's
back.
nothing to get him back.
I hope he comes back.
The
but
Conor fight isn't going to work.
No,
there's nothing Conor can
there's
do.
not enough money. There's not
To
enough
make him-
money.
yeah. And he's got that on that side of the world. That's a different kind of money, right? So
Yeah.
the money that he's probably getting there that we don't see, because like Conor get that money like that on TV, that flashy money that you see. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think that Khabib has all of that on the outside, but on the inside looking in, they like, hey man, thank you for what you did for us on Conor.
Mother Russia.
Let me go ahead on and drop you 100 mil. They're like, oh, 100 mil, that's more than I made this whole thing. They're like, look, that's nothing. That's peanuts. So I don't know. I don't think anything gets him up to come back. So with that being said, who's the champ? Is it Connor? Is it Poirier? Is
Well,
it
I feel like
Oliveira?
if Connor stays focused, I feel like it's Connor's division to win and also to
Uh huh.
lose. So I feel like he can actually go in and take that belt and run with it. I feel like for the UFC, it'd be better off in Connor's hands because he'd bring more
Yes.
attention to the UFC than anyone else. So if it was an opportunity for him to get the belt, he'd bring back the attention to the UFC that would be more positive. Because right now it's one of those things where we got a lot of top athletes that no one knows about
Right.
in the UFC. And we just need that one figurehead to shine above the rest and bring the money back into the UFC
Right.
itself. So I feel like if it was Connor, he'll bring more notoriety to the game or to the sport, and bring a face to the
Right.
UFC that I don't think it has at this point in
But here's the
time.
thing:
So hopefully it is, but I don't think it might. I don't think it
who
will
is
be
the
Connor.
champ? Pick one.
I don't know. I can't pick.
You
I
got to
don't
pick
know.
one because look, because you got another matchup that's coming up. Charles Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje, which is weird, but I'm on board with it. It's weird, but I'm on board with it.
Here's the thing: Justin Gaethje can be the champion of that division.
Yes. I'm gonna
So
go. I'm gonna go out of left field, just completely out of left field here, and make a bold statement. 2022, our UFC lightweight champion is Dan Hooker.
I can see why you say
Dan
that.
Hooker, he trains with Israel Adesanya out of City Kickboxing. Goes out there and all he does is either A, he shocks somebody in the next fight, which he's gonna have to do to get a title fight, or something's gonna happen to where he gets put into a title fight, and we're like, oh, we'll watch it because this fell through, and he's gonna go out there and shock somebody. You know,
I
I
can
could
see
see
that.
that. I'm gonna make a bold statement, say Dan Hooker at 2022.
I can see that. I can
All
see
right,
that.
Kamar Usman at welterweight, is he the champion?
Man, he's the most boring
Put your
fighter.
feelings aside and make a statement. I get it; it's boring, but can Kobe Covington stop it?
Nah,
Can
man.
Gilbert Burns
I feel
stop
like
it?
if he has a good chance, but I don't think he's seasoned enough to do so. I think he's like a year away from being the champion in the
Can
division.
Leon Edwards stop it?
Maybe.
Leon just lost, didn't he? No, it was Jeff Neal who lost. Yeah,
Yeah, Leon, maybe Leon is a monster, and he can come in. He can push Usman to a limit, but Usman is just too big, man. He's just big. He's big and boring.
this is
Usman is big and boring.
this is what needs to happen. We need to put that fight together. Now, here's the thing. Here's what from what you're saying from a standpoint. Let's do it. Looking at that, you've got the figurehead who's on top right now, Connor. There's a lot of things that's got to happen for him to win. Same at the 170 division with Jorge Masvidal. We need to put that Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal, put the three piece in the soda on rotation all the time on TV, get everybody hyped up,
Super
and
necessary.
see if we can get if Jorge beats Leon Edwards, that's automatically back in the case to go out and fight either Kamaru or Gilbert Burns again.
I don't feel like Jorge can beat Kamara. That's the
But
problem. Why would we put two fighters together that we feel like or we have already
we can talk
seen
ourselves into it though.
that that Usman is more elite fighter than
Now, with
Jorge.
that being said,
Now, would I watch it? Hell yeah. Would I root for Jorge? Hell yeah. Do I think he's gonna win? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. But listen to this. We can make that case and try and talk ourselves into it when it's Connor though. Like during a
But
snowball's chance
hold
in
up.
hell that Connor is gonna go out there and beat Habib.
No, I would say the same thing about him and Habib. That's why I said that the fight won't ever
Right.
happen.
But I'm saying, but we can talk ourselves to death trying to put that fight back together. Man, we need to see the second one. We need to, when we talk about Masvidal coming in on short notice and getting out wrestled by Kamaru, we can kind of talk ourselves back into it to make another payday.
Nah.
If that
You can
If
say
that's the
that it was
case, in
short notice.
2022, Kamaru.
You can say that. You can say that it's short notice. You can say that Jorge wasn't ready for the fight
Uh-huh.
itself. But I feel like we get the same Jorge the next time he fights Usman, and I feel like we get a better Usman because now he knows he's fighting Jorge. Usman trained for Burns, didn't get Burns, got Jorge, and then all of a sudden he came in, dismantled him. I don't even really think he dismantled him. I feel like he just put more pressure on him, stomped his foot, and hugged him a lot, and didn't let Jorge get
Okay.
loose, which sucks. Because I
So
wanted to see Jorge put that two piece and a soda on his
so
ass.
then 2022, Kamaru's still the champ then.
Hell yeah, he's still the
2022,
champ. It's
Kamaru's still the champ.
more
Middleweight,
fucking
the
champ.
middleweight. This is tough too because there's a lot moving around right now, and I know he said he's talking about going back and forth. But let's just look at both scenarios. Israel Adesanya or Adesanya is how you should properly say it. Israel Adesanya, is he still the champ at middleweight?
I feel like he's still the champ, but I feel like he gets the loss this year.
At light heavyweight?
He's the light heavy, yeah, at light heavyweight. I feel like he gets a loss. I feel like he goes up in weight, fights somebody who's a lot bigger than him, and they actually catch him to a point where they put him on the ground and he can't get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like the way you think.
I feel like he catches a loss this year, but I still feel like he comes out this year into next year still the champ.
Okay. I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
I don't feel like there's a fight in middleweight right now that intrigues him,
Okay. So
and everyone that's in line to fight him for the championship, he's already beat.
okay. So we look at it like this. If we look at the idea of a 2022, if I had to make any bold predictions, I would say something along the lines of Robert Whitaker is the champion at 185 simply because Israel Adesanya did not fight at 185 the entire year. I don't,
Then we get a
I,
then we get a stupid fight in the beginning of the year next year where we got Adesanya
Jan Blachowicz.
versus Whitaker. No, Whitaker.
No, you talking about next year where we get.
No, I'm talking about next year we get the Adesanya versus
I
Whitaker
don't think we
fight.
get it at all. I think Adesanya leaves 185.
For what? He's not big enough to go to light
I
heavyweight.
we Listen to me when I tell you this. I didn't think he was big enough for 185. So I'm quit doubting that man. I thought he should have been at 170. When he was first going on his tear and he was telling everybody like how much he weighed fighting at 185, he weighed like 193 pounds fighting at 185. And them guys at 185, they coming from the twos. So with that being
So you
said,
expect to tell me that somebody come from 225, 230 fighting an Adesanya that's a 193 going up
well,
to
no, he's bigger
205.
now.
He's
He's
not
bigger
going.
now.
He's man. He look like a twig, man. He need to stay in middleweight
Yeah,
where he's at,
and he
dominate in the
gave
same
Paulo
weight like weight
Costa the
classes.
work, and he beat Yoel Romero.
He gave him the two piece in the
Hell,
soul.
I don't think a lot of the people at 205, like if Romero went to 205, there's a lot of people on that list. He ain't gonna make it out of that cage. You know, there's a lot of people that Paulo Costa might beat at 205 as long as it isn't a lot of lights or something over and he just folds. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what happened to Paulo Costa, but that was not the fighter that I thought was going to be
That
in
was
ring at that time.
crazy. That was
That was crazy
crazy.
how Adesanya just pieced them together and gave him everything that he wanted to give him and more, put him on the ground and just finished him. I feel like Adesanya gets a loss this year out of the middleweight, but he still retains his title next year. That's all I'm gonna say about that
If
situation.
Adesanya's still a middleweight, he does not lose. If Adesanya goes
He
up to
doesn't.
light heavyweight, then he may take an L. Now, light heavyweight
Exactly.
Jan Blachowicz, is he still the champion in 2022?
Fuck. Oh, sorry. No.
Okay. So who beats him?
Everybody.
Who's everybody?
It
He's
doesn't
on like a
matter.
7-fight win streak.
I don't care.
Who beats him?
The rematch.
With him and Reyes?
Yeah, I think Reyes comes in. His head's not up in the air, thinking farther than what it is. I think Reyes can win that
Thinking
fight.
like, oh, I already got this in the bag.
He
All I
caught
need to
he
do is
caught
show up.
Reyes knew that he was gonna win that. Had the confidence going in that he was gonna win it. I don't feel like he trained as well as he needed to, I feel like the next match or the rematch, if there is a rematch, he wins that belt.
Okay. And John
But
Jones
Reyes,
mentioned that he's not coming back to 205 also.
hey, it is what it is. If he comes back to 205, it'll be the fight
So
Adesanya.
who's the champion of the light heavyweight division? It's
Reyes finally gets champion of the light
in
heavyweight division.
2022. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I would I would I would suffice to say this. I would think that Israel Adesanya is going to beat Jan Blachowicz.
Anybody can beat him.
And then I say that maybe Dominic Reyes is the guy that beats Israel Adesanya.
He's not fighting Dominic.
Why wouldn't he?
He's
So
gonna fight Juan Blachowicz. He's gonna go fight
he's gonna
him,
fight Young.
and then he's gonna go. Then he's gonna go back to the middleweight. He is not
I
fighting
doubt that
Reyes.
he's gonna stay. I doubt that he's gonna do both.
Telling you, that body, your head will only get you so far until your body says, "Well, we can't do this."
All right. The illustrious heavyweight division. Who
No,
is the champ? Right now is Stipe.
Ngannou.
Ngannou's the champ?
Ngannou.
So
Yeah.
Ngannou's the champ over John Jones and Stipe Miocic.
Ngannou.
Okay.
You saying by the beginning of January?
January
I think
2022.
January 2022. I feel like Stipe and John Jones fight. John Jones beats Stipe,
Okay.
and Ngannou comes in and rocks John Jones to win the championship. And then in January 2022, we get not John Jones, we get a Ngannou versus Stipe rematch.
Does Stipe need to win one? Who's he beat? Derek Lewis?
He don't need to win
He just
one.
needs an immediate rematch.
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first, folks. There you have it.